So it looks like Real Madrid are going into the transfer market because they want to sign a midfielder. And apparently this midfielder is a midfielder that José Mourinho also wants. What is his name? Morten Hjulmand. So you're thinking, why are they going in to sign another midfielder? Well, this guy is a midfielder that Real Madrid do need because he is a controlling midfielder and a defensive midfielder. And he's a good player. He's 26 years of age, and the thing is that I maybe don't agree with, he's worth 50 million euros. Now the thing is, I don't doubt José Mourinho. He's the guy that signs the most random players that you never heard of, and then they come into Real Madrid and they perform. You can look at Sami Khedira, Mesut Ozil, Di Maria. These guys were unknown before Real Madrid. Jose brought them in, and now look at who they are. So he's a profile that we need. You know, we tried many experiments in the season. Well, first of all, we had Chouameni. He was a good defensive midfielder, and he is a good defensive midfielder, no doubt a starter. But Hjulmand reminds me a lot more of Thiago Pitach. Press resistant, will run and tackle, do all that hard work. That is what Hjulmand reminds me of. Now the thing is, many of you guys hate Pitach, which shocks me. Pitach is such a good player, and he's only 18. In my personal opinion, if Real Madrid don't sign Hjulmand, then just keep Pitach. But back to Jose, he's good at bringing random players into the team and them performing. He always gets this done. You know his favorite saying, Kevin De Bruyne, Aguero, you know that saying. But either way, he's good at it. He's good at scouting players, and they might not even be young players. Hjulmand is 26. He's good at finding underrated ballers. So let me tell you why I like Hjulmand at Real Madrid and why I think he will fit so well in this team and even improve or maybe even fix Real Madrid's midfield. He's the captain of Sporting. If you're the captain of a team, then you are a big deal. You no doubt are a leader. It shows you a leader. You have good character, and it takes a lot for a team like Sporting to give you the captain's armband. Real Madrid don't usually sign captains of teams, so the fact that he's a captain of Sporting, that already tells me it shows that he has leadership, character, and even a good mentality. Now let's get on to how he plays. He is not the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch. He's not the most progressive player with the ball even. I would say his passing is maybe not on a fantastic level. However, if we're looking for defense and we're looking for structure in the midfield, Hjulmand is that. He doesn't care how dirty he will get. He is like a hard worker. And he reminds me of Valverde a bit, where they would just run around. He also reminds me a bit of Thiago Pitach. They will get messy when it comes to winning the ball. And that's what I like about him. He looks like a soldier. He's also a very selfless player, which midfielders need to be selfless. He doesn't seem like he's a selfish player. He gives the ball to whoever he can. And he cares about the flow of the game. He cares about defending. And that is what this team needs. He's also quite press resistant. I mean, you can look at some of these clips against Man City, Arsenal. This guy has performed against big clubs. Put on good defensive displays against big clubs. He's slick with some of his passing. Yet again, I will tell you, not the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch. But he gets the job done. That is the most important thing. Do you get the job done? Yes. Does it look fantastic? It doesn't have to. That is what makes him special in my personal opinion. He has good long balls. His passing is not very telegraphed, I can't lie. Like, defenders don't usually see it coming. And even his teammates might not see it coming. I'm just being honest. There could be a possibility where he becomes a starter for Real Madrid. But I do overall think if he does join Real Madrid, he will be our second option for CDM. Either be our second option for CDM or he will start, similar to how Thiago Pitach was used in this season. So the thing about Hjulmand is, if we have him in the team, he will give players like Valverde and Bellingham a lot of freedom. Do you remember when Pitach was playing in matches against Man City and other teams like that? He gave Valverde tons of freedom, and that's why Valverde was so good at scoring goals. So I'm overall sold with the signing. I think Real Madrid should do it. 50 million. He's 26. He's a leader, he's a captain for Sporting, and I can even show you this performance which he had against Spain. My goodness, this guy was playing this good against Spain. The Spain national team, where they are like dominant, they are fantastic, and they beat every team. Yes, they did beat his country in this match, but he still put on a good display. And you know, we need players like him. We need players that will run, players that can control the midfield, because we don't have much of that. Kamavinga isn't that really. Tchouameni also isn't really that, I'm being honest with you. He's not a controller, he's just a defensive midfielder. And you know who Hjulmand actually reminds me of? He reminds me of Modric in a small way. The fact that we signed Modric when he was 27. We signed Luka Modric at 27 years of age. That should tell you. And Mourinho signed Modric as well. If Mourinho sees a talent in you, then you are a talent. And he sees something in you that the others can't see. If you look at Modric in 2013, he was called the worst signing of the season. And now you look at him, he's a legend. Like an absolute legend. Now the thing is, Real Madrid also want Rodri. I spoke about him in the previous video. With Rodri versus Hjulmand, Rodri could go for a similar price or maybe a bit higher, maybe 80 million euros. And he might leave Man City. He's obviously a well-proven player. He's performed in big games, won Champions Leagues, even won a Ballon d'Or that I don't think he personally deserved. But he's one of the best, if not the best CDM in the world. If I have to make a choice between Rodri and Hjulmand, I probably would go for Rodri. But Hjulmand is younger than him. Hjulmand is also more mobile than him. He will run more. He will tackle more, and he's a good controlling midfielder. So I actually don't know. I might actually choose Hjulmand, if I'm being honest with you. The news reports are quite funny about him. They say he's crazy about joining Real Madrid. He's desperate to join Real Madrid. And I know this is not actually what's happening. You know how Spanish news reports and journalists, they always exaggerate things. Rodri, I think he still has a chance of staying at Man City. But if he's not happy with Maresca, I think he's gonna come to Real Madrid. So maybe this is true what they're saying. But moving on to José Mourinho, this is apparently the plan that he's looking for in the time being. He wants to sign Morten Hjulmand. He also wants a former Real Madrid player as an assistant coach. Let's actually get into this. Who could it be? First of all, it's not going to be Toni Kroos. Kroos is one of the board of the directors, I think, now of Real Madrid. So he's out of the equation. It's not going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not going to be Luka Modric. It could be Sami Khedira if I'm being honest with you. It could even be Ozil if we're being honest. There's so many names. And then the third thing he's looking for is a player who can link the board to the squad. And that is going to be Toni Kroos, as this news report says. Kroos is now that person who links the board to the actual team. And Kroos is not out of touch. He's not a player that's been retired for a very long time. He played for the squad 2 years ago. So we saw Endrick now said goodbye to Lyon. And no doubt, if Endrick stayed at Real Madrid from January to now, he would not be selected for the World Cup. You saw even players like João Pedro didn't make the Brazil squad. If Endrick didn't go to Lyon, he would not even see the World Cup. His development has been crazy at Lyon, and I think he's 10 times the player that he was last year. And I have a bold prediction. I think he's gonna have a generational World Cup. He could even win the World Cup. Maybe the next Pele. Like, I know people used to joke about it, but I actually think, maybe not the next Pele, but I think the next huge Brazilian legend is growing into the player that we know he can become. So I won't be shocked if we see top scorer in the World Cup. But either way, tell me your thoughts on this player Hjulmand. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. I will be reading, will be responding. Smash like on the video because it truly helps with the channel. And it shows to me that you enjoy the video, so please smash like on the video. If you've not subscribed yet, definitely hit the subscribe button, and peace out.